Hey, how's it going, guys? Today we're going over a very interesting old Swiss Army knife, very specific to the sport of golf. Has some pretty unique tools as far as Swiss Army knives go. This one is a Wenger Golf Pro. Before we go any further, you can correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I say Wenger, I've heard Wenger, Wenger, Wegner, all kinds of things. So let me know what is correct, but Wenger is how I am used to saying it. Keep in mind too, when I got into knives for the first 10, 15 years, there was no YouTube. So everything I learned about knives was in text. It was in books. It was reading things on the forums. I never actually got to hear many people say company names or, something like Bowie Bowie. It was maybe a regional thing. Maybe depending on where you live, you said it one way or the other. But long story short, Wenger, let me know if I'm wrong. Anyway, interesting history on the knife company. Everyone, well, I shouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people know of Victorinox and of Wenger. They both came out in the late 1800s, about the same time. But Victorinox was a much larger company. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're the largest knife company in the world as far as how many different employees they have and building size, stuff like that. But back when 9/11 happened, Wenger suffered quite a bit because of the tightened security at airports and stuff. A lot of people stopped buying their knives because they really just couldn't travel with them. Little Swiss Army knives, pocket knives, were extremely popular in the 90s that I remember. But looking back, after 9/11 and mid-2000s and stuff, I saw less people carrying them. And then, of course, as the years went on, it became less PC to even have a knife. Outside of the knife community, there's still millions of people who carry knives. But generally speaking, in public, people don't carry knives as much, especially, something like a little pocket knife. Whereas back in the day, every schoolboy would have a knife, but God forbid you brought a knife to school these days. So yeah, times change, and obviously the beefed up security affected the company so much so that in 2005, Victorinox bought them. Now they still kept the Wenger name, of course, and they're still making them, but obviously it's just owned, by Victorinox. And you'll also see they use the Wenger name on other products like watches, wallets, bags, stuff like that. All right, so it's just a marketing thing, but it's all owned by Victorinox. Anyway, getting into this specific knife, I was able to date this thanks to multitools.org. Someone put a chart up there that showed the different tang stamps and such for Wenger. All right, specifically on the back here. Okay, that logo was used from 1990 to 2008. So it was made somewhere in that range, which is kind of a large range, but gives me the idea that it wasn't, super recent. This one has some very unique tools. So obviously, besides our main blades, a 2.5-inch blade like you see in pretty much all larger Swiss Army knives. They also have in this a can opener, bottle opener, screwdriver combo. Now in a lot of Swiss Army knives, there's a separate can opener from a bottle opener. This one even has a patent on there. You can see there's, I believe, a patent pending at the time. And this one served as both a can opener and bottle opener, with, of course, the flat tip being a flathead screwdriver. All right, which is pretty different from a lot of different models there. Now this one is called the Golfer. Obviously you can see, or I'm sorry, the Golf Pro. It is a very specific one because there's a ton of models, not only from Wenger, but also Victorinox. Golf is obviously a very popular sport, and they made a bunch of versions of this. All kinds of versions. In fact, the original version, I don't even think it had golf tools in it. It was just called the Golfer. But anyway, this version came in both red scales as well as green scales, and I think there's even a stainless steel version that was upgraded as well. And this one has the golf clubs on it. Some of the other variants, you might see an actual little golfer, mid-swing or whatever. That's, I think, a different model as well. But the golf-specific tools in here are this Divot Tool. And if you're not familiar with golf, when you're smacking the ball with the club, sometimes you make a little dent in the grass. Let's say this is the dent. How you use this tool is you push in the ground behind it and use it to pry up the dirt and grass so it's flat again. All right, this is considered a courtesy. All right, some people don't do this. I haven't golfed in a while, but back when I did, I saw all kinds of divots everywhere. So, like I said, it's a courtesy thing to do, as well as a lot of people who suck at golf. They may take massive chunks out of the ground. You're really supposed to go grab that chunk of grass that you just removed from the ground and place it back on top like a nice little toupee and flatten it out a little bit. But some people are rude. Anyway, if you're not rude, that's what that's for, and it does come in handy. It's probably the most used tool in something like this, a golfer's tool. Now on the other side here, we have what looks like maybe a smaller version of that, but this is actually a wrench for the spikes on your golf shoes. All right, the golf shoes or cleats actually have removable little spikes. So you can use this to either tighten them up or obviously loosen them up, take them out and replace them. It's a very interesting, very specific tool only to golf cleats or golf shoes. Now on the back, we only have one tool here, all right, and that is a very specific looking tool. And this is a golf club face cleaner, all right? So if you're not familiar with golf clubs, they all have grooves on them. And of course, when hitting into the dirt and grass and such, they get packed with all kinds of debris, mostly dirt. So this is a very specific tool to, imagine my hand has all these grooves cut in. You're gonna literally use this to scrape out all that dirt, okay? Because it can affect, you know, how the ball is hit with the club. However, this also doubles if you happen to be attacked on the golf course. This would make a very useful self-defense tool. Holding it like this, it is very stable. It's not going to wobble or anything, and it comes to a pretty acute point. But most golfers aren't getting attacked, so that would be to use to clean your clubs. This one does come with a little length of chain for the keychain, which is very nice. This makes it a little bit different. Unfortunately, on this particular model, it is missing the toothpick. And the tweezers are here, but it's missing the plastic piece on the end. It would be gray, very similar to what you guys are used to seeing, but that happens to be missing here. So overall, it's a really cool, interesting model. Like I said, very useful if you're actually going out and golfing, which I'm hoping to do more of in the future. That's why I was interested in this specific one. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Thought the history is kind of interesting, but again, more specifically, I'm very fascinated by these Swiss Army knives that have very specific tools for a specific task, or in this case, a sport. I enjoy most sports. Golf is one of those sports I'm just not that great at. To be honest, my average score is probably 30 over par, but I have a lot of fun playing. Like I said, I probably, my entire life, maybe went golfing, I don't know, 50 times, 60 times. So you're not going to see me on the next PGA Tour or anything, but it's a great excuse to get out on a really nice day and spend some time with my father, which is the person I always golfed with, and smoke a good cigar. So anyway, let me know down in the comment section if you've ever seen this knife, if you own this knife, and if you golf. I don't know what this is. I'm excited. I'm excited for the replies. Yeah, anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.